Hey everybody, it's Rajesh here.
And Tane here.
Welcome to our podcast, Baskets of Knowledge, Chats with a Difference. In our podcast, we invite guests from around the country and around the world to talk about how they got to where they're at the moment. It's about a journey, it's about an experience, it's about their life. Kia ora koutou, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Baskets of Knowledge. We're just reflecting before the podcast. This is episode number 129, I think, which is pretty crazy for us as we think about where this podcast has started and where it's gone to. To our regular listeners, thank you for jumping on. For our new listeners, hopefully you enjoyed today's podcast, and hopefully it gets you excited to listen to some of our other episodes as well. Tane, welcome back. It's nice to see you again. What's been happening in your world since we last spoke?
Yeah, I guess I've been pretty busy with work, doing a lot of travel over the next couple of months. So yeah, some exciting, but also need a good time management around that too. But I think one of my learnings that I've kind of taken away from that is really trying to separate work life from personal life, and more so, I guess that time in the morning and the time after work where I actually disassociate from it for a bit and just step away from some of the work that I'm trying to do. And I think it's tough because particularly in something like the sports sector where everyone's always driven to get people more physically active, and there's so many avenues that you could take, and there's always, I guess, more that you're motivated to do and more people that you want to reach. But at the end of the day, I think you have to realize that you have to take a step back and go, there's only so much you can do in a day, and regardless if you do 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, there's still going to be work to do tomorrow. And I think that's been an important reflection for me because, all of my previous jobs have been very much, you start here, you finish here, and, whatever the task is that you do, that's all you do. And once you step away, you don't have to think about it so much, whether it was working at Pack and Save, that work could continue once I finished. And same with after school care, once the kids go home, there's no responsibility there. Whereas, as I say, coming into something like Sport Otago, where we've got this goal and we want to, continue to achieve great things, it also comes with that, I guess, that constant drive that you have there. And it's awesome to have, but it's also, finding a way to actually take a step back and go, there's only so much you can do within your power. And I suppose that's something that we've kind of navigated in a few of our podcasts, like our episode last week, just realizing that, when you're doing your own work or something that you're so passionate about, actually finding that way to step back. So it's been an awesome reflection for me over that last, I guess, week or so.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that there. And I think the beauty is with our guest today, I think there might be some synergies in your conversation as well as we go through that. And I guess my biggest learning today was, well, I guess over the last few weeks is that if you're not in discomfort, you're not growing. And this has been really interesting for me because, as you all know, I have been in the same role for a while. The people will say to me, "Why do you keep doing all these other crazy random things?" And that's because I find myself, if I'm just doing the same thing, I'm not growing. So I put my hand up to do lots of things, but as you said also before, doing everything you end up just getting burnt out. But it's important to find that balance and to find the discomfort, because things are going to be challenging, and if you're too comfortable all the time, you're not going to grow. And I keep thinking about that in my own world, but also with people that I work with and people that I challenge. Sometimes it sounds like I'm being pretty mean or pretty assertive, but my aim is to try and get people to be a bit uncomfortable and then embrace that uncomfortableness and then grow from there. So yeah, that's my learning for the weekend. I'm trying to embrace that in the different aspects of my life, like going to the gym, which I haven't been doing for a while. But anyway, that's another story for another day. But enough of myself and Tane. For our listeners out there, we scour the country, scour the world to find people that we think are interesting. And as you all know, we think everyone's interesting. Everyone's got a story to tell. But as we always say, we don't have any funding for our podcast, so we just pick one or two people, and we think people are amazing. And this week, I'm so privileged, so honored, and so blessed for us to welcome our guest. A bit of a background with our relationship with our guest this week here. I crossed paths with this guest probably 3 or 4 years ago, and while they were at school. And over the last 2 or 3 years, I've seen them in the different roles, and I've seen the amazing mahi and the work that they do, not just as a young person, but also the work they do with encouraging other young people to get into some pretty cool spaces. And I guess today we're going to touch on that. And yeah, it's really our privilege, and also I guess for Tane as well, and I guess myself, it's awesome that we always touch base with something that's got a connection. So our guest this week comes from the Taranaki region, from New Plymouth, and welcome to our guest, Abbie.
Thanks for having me.
Fantastic.
Yeah, excited to be here.
Yeah, beauty. We're excited to have you here. So thank you so much. Abbie, for our listeners who know nothing about you, can you tell them who you are and what are you doing at this point in time in your life?
Cool. Awesome. So, kia ora, I'm Abbie. I am a second year student at Victoria University. I'm studying design and marketing. What else? I am an entrepreneur. I started my first business when I was around 11 or 12. So it's called Grow Easy. And basically, how it all started was Carnival Craft fundraising project where we sold little succulents in glass jars. Then I went to a business school for kids. And then, yeah, since 2016, it's kind of been rolling and evolved into Grow Easy, which is a kind of boutique indoor plant business. And yeah, also do like um, all kinds of plant themed gifts. And yeah, and then I've got another part, which is called the Together Collective, which I started through the Young Enterprise Scheme, which is a program for high school students to get into entrepreneurship and start their own businesses. So the Together Collective was started in 2021, which helps high school and uni students help take their art that they've created through their study or personally and help them share it with the world through clothing and prints. And yeah, it's all about promoting their story, their work, and yeah, a percentage of each sale goes back to them. So yeah, got a few different hats, student, Grow Easy, and the Together Collective. And yeah, I just love all things startup, community, creative. Yeah, that's me.
Awesome, and I think we will delve into each of those different hats of yours as we go through this week's episode. So I guess my first question for you, Abbie, is being an entrepreneur, is this something that was developed with you through your family, or is it something that you picked up because you followed someone that was pretty amazing? Or where did it start from? Because all entrepreneurs come, something happens in their world where they go, hey, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, I kind of had, yeah, interesting path. I mean, my parents, like sometimes with entrepreneurs, their parents are business owners and kind of runs in the family, like family businesses passed down and that kind of mindset is passed on. But for me, my dad's a high school teacher and my mum works in health. And yeah, so very different spaces. The rest of one side of my family is quite entrepreneurial. They're farmers. It's kind of in their blood to problem solve and come up with kind of innovative ways to make money. But yeah, in terms of my close family, yeah, really, they've just always been supportive of whatever I've been interested in. And that's kind of, yeah, how that kind of all unfolded. I had awesome encouragement from my primary school teacher, Mr. A. He set up the project where we got to, work out the costs, come up with a little business idea, and a product to sell at our school carnival at Franklin School in New Plymouth. And yeah, I guess that kind of idea of problem solving and creating something and being able to make money was, yeah, quite exciting to me. I've always loved I made like rainbow loom bracelets. That was quite a phase, sort of around like 2014, around that kind of time when I was in primary school. So I'd make rainbow loom bracelets and I'd sell them at my granny's market. So yeah, there's kind of there's ties in there. My granny, yeah, she's an amazing teddy bear maker and crafter and sewer. So yeah, the market and sort of creative genes, I guess, and drive was inspired from her as well. And yeah, so it kind of has just evolved from there, really. Yeah, I never intended this kind of path. It just kind of happened when I started trying stuff out and learning. And yeah, here we are.
Yeah, that's really cool, and I like I say it's cool because you start off by just I guess dabbling for a little bit, to some fun, and then as you start understanding, hey, this is actually pretty cool, it changes your whole mentality and your mindset around it, which For some people, because some people I know when I was in high school a long time ago, I also my brother and myself would this is going to sound terrible, but we were one of the first people in our community to have a CD writer. So not a reader, but a writer. So we would go on to Napster, if people know what Napster was a long time ago, and we would download MP3 music and we would rip the CDs and then would sell the CDs at school, illegal pirate, but how well. And it was pretty crazy that we did all that. But then that was just a phase, and it just stopped up because it got too hard or just got too ridiculous. But it's really awesome that people like yourself, and I guess you, Abby, you taken off that phase and you still keep getting involved in it. But I think what the big difference is for you as well is not just that you've done this by yourself, because let's talk about here comes young enterprise, because obviously you could do this pretty cool thing by yourself, but getting involved with young enterprise, what is that like for you when your idea and your hobby actually had a bit of structure as you started going to the young enterprise scheme when you did that at school?
Young Enterprise Scheme was awesome. So I kind of how my journey ended up was I'd been running Grow Easy for about 5 years by the time I got into, 5 or 6 years by the time I got into year 12. Um, and I got a really great base knowledge based on just DIY, kind of making it up as I go along. My family helping me, kind of just all just figuring it out on our own. And yeah, having supportive people in the community that gave me good advice and helped me out. And yeah, I kind of thought, um, yeah, what could happen if I actually learnt how this stuff is done, like for real from teachers and the wider young enterprise community network, and yeah, what could be possible if I tried to start something new. And yeah, I was just excited for the challenge of applying what I'd already learnt to something new. And yeah, also just figuring out how I could create a more socially focused business that helped other people. I saw that there was like a real need for art students in my class who were created some amazing work, absolutely amazing work that at the end of the year, once we'd handed in our portfolios, they just tucked them under their bed, or, gave a picture to their grandma, or, like it didn't kind of leave their home. And yeah, that's kind of was the inspiration for the Together Collective, which I started through Young Enterprise. And yeah, just an amazing program and support, and community, which, yeah, provides such amazing experiences for so many young people. Yeah, I just can't speak highly enough of Young Enterprise.
Oh,
Yeah.
beauty, beauty. And let's talk about the Together Collective. How did you come up with that name? It's a really beautiful name. Was that when you did Young Enterprise? Did you do it by yourself, or did you have a team of you? What is your pathway into the Young Enterprise scheme when you did it?
Yeah. So, for people that aren't familiar with Young Enterprise, the traditional format is that you um, kind of create groups within your school classes, and you get assigned different roles depending on your strengths, and you kind of work as a team. Whereas our class was quite small, and I decided, um, yeah, I was going to go all guns blazing. So I decided that I was going to be a sole trader, which lots of people told me that I shouldn't do because it wouldn't go well. And I'd be, because essentially I did the work of 5 people, 4 or 5 people on my own. Um, but yeah, I decided that that's what I wanted to do. Wanted to prove them wrong, show them that it is possible. And that, yeah, with community support, um, yeah, it's possible to, yeah, build something and start something through Young Enterprise on your own. And yeah, the Together Collective, the name, kind of, it's the same with Grow Easy. It kind of came from random brainstorming sessions with my family. Would be, I think I was coming up with it when we were on our summer road trip, when we were in the car for a few hours. We were all just chucking around random ideas in the car and just seeing what sounded good and what was already out, like Googling what was already out there, and yeah, what kind of represented the kind of purpose and the message behind the products. So yeah, that's kind of one one of us said it and we're like, oh yeah, that's it. But yeah.
It's pretty. I'm having a bit of a chuckle here because again, I'm just reflecting back on my childhood road trips. We'd be playing I Spy with My Little Eye, which is very different to getting business names. So very, very different, which is really cool, Abby. And
We
and I
definitely do that too.
I Spy with My Little Eye is a business beginning with, yeah, that's great, beautiful, Abby. Um, but also, I think there's a bit of an amazing paradox slash irony of on the name of your business because, as you said, you were a sole trader, but your
Mm,
actual company that you created is about togetherness, which is
mm,
pretty cool. As a sole trader, you can still go back and give back to the wider community. And as you introduced the idea of Together Collective, how did your peers and how did that go with people around you? Because as you said before, you have all these amazing artists and people in your cohort that are doing some cool things, but it just gets put under the bed. Do they go, this is a cool idea, or were they, or as I said at the start, were they a bit uncomfortable putting their stuff up there because they were, hey, comfort zone is all cool to put under the bed.
yeah, 100%. There was definitely both sides.
Yeah.
Some students I talked to were like, yes, this is great, awesome. Others were a little bit hesitant. I think more hesitant in that, questioning whether their work was good enough and like how it was all going to work and yeah, whether they wanted to share it or not. Yeah, whether they felt confident putting it out there. But I think the whole purpose of the Together Collective is to make students and young artists feel comfortable and empowered to put their work out there, and just to celebrate what they create. And yeah, I think it's really hard to put yourself outside your comfort zone when you don't have that support around you and that kind of yeah, advice and experience in business and marketing and storytelling to actually take the steps. So yeah, it's all about helping people take the step, and then who knows what will come from there for them. One artist, Ethan, he's had commissions, people that have seen his work and they've decided, yep, that's a good fit for my business or brand. So yeah, and who knows what will happen into the future in their own creative journeys. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. It's pretty exciting, and they've all done so well. And yeah, it's just really, really cool to be able to play a small part in helping them. Yeah.
And I guess while we're here, let's use this platform to do a bit of a promo for yourself. So if we have an artist listening to this today and go, hey, wait a minute, I want to get involved with this, how would they do that there? Because we have lots of
Yeah.
people that are pretty creative out there, and then their stuff just gets hidden. What would you say to them? How do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, no, I'd love to hear from people. They can get in touch with me on social media is probably the best way. So it's the Together Collective. We're on Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, send me some pictures, say hi, what you're interested in. And yeah, that would be cool.
Well, that was actually for me to send you my design, Abby, not for our listeners. Okay, so I'm just being cheeky. This is great.
You can
Awesome.
send me a design if you like.
If I like, yeah, great. Beauty. And now, so this is really fascinating for me. So think about this, Abby. So you have, Grow Easy, you have the Together Collective, and someone go, hey, you're doing really well, Abby. Why would you want to go to university when you have, a lot of people say you don't have to go to university to be an entrepreneur. So obviously you finish up year 13 and you go, hey, I've got this down pat. What made you decide to go to university? Um, yeah, I guess at that point in time.
Yeah, university, I think it was always part of my thinking that I would like to go to university for the experience of leaving home, moving to a bigger city, meeting new people, and just having new experiences. And yeah, I've always kind of viewed my business business ventures and ideas as um, a side thing because I've always been doing it as a side thing. Was doing full-time school. Now I'm doing full-time uni. And yeah, I think for the moment, it's really nice to have something exciting that also helps support my university lifestyle on the side. And then, yeah, while I'm studying and learning, there's so much to learn. And yeah, I can always pick up my business stuff in a bigger capacity when I'm finished if I would like to, if I financially can do that. Or I feel like I might be one of those people that always has little side projects that keep things interesting. But yeah, I definitely did get asked that quite a lot. But yeah, really glad with my decision to yeah, go to uni.
Yeah, and I guess, the key thing there is there's no such thing as a bad decision. There's just a decision you make and you just roll with
Yeah,
it and you go, cool, just because I go to university doesn't stop me being an entrepreneur. And just by
yeah,
being an
exactly.
entrepreneur doesn't mean I can't be studying. I think a lot of people in the world get fixated on one or the other.
Mm.
You can't be both, but I think the world has changed quite dramatically that you can actually be both and leverage both and actually grow with both. And, as you said before, you have no idea what's going to happen in the next few years, but let's enjoy the moment while you have the moment. And I'm just
Yeah.
going to just change tact a bit and talk about your experiences. So, as we said at the start, you live in New Plymouth, you live in Taranaki. What is it like moving away from home to go to university in Wellington City? Was it an easy transition for you, or was it the reason I asked is because for those people that don't know geography in New Zealand, Taranaki and Gisborne are the two, and West Coast, I guess, are the remote parts of New Zealand where you've got to go off the beaten path to get to them. You
Mm.
can't just go straight on, straight highway one. So what is that like for you? And I guess you've been to Wellington a lot, so that wasn't too unfamiliar. But for you to live in Wellington, what is that like for you as a young person?
Yeah. Yeah, the thing with Taranaki, yeah, everything's quite far. Um, and yeah, I've had an awesome childhood growing up here. Amazing community, really supportive startup community as well. Um, and yeah, I think moving to Wellington was a good transition for me because Wellington is still a small city. Everything's really nice and compact and close to each other. I live centrally in the CBD, so I generally just walk everywhere or catch a bus. Um, yeah, it's pretty simple in that kind of lifestyle with everything close by. Um, yeah, there's heaps of creative, exciting things to do. Yeah, great place for young people. The university has, yeah, awesome opportunities and they've got campuses throughout the city. So, um, yeah, it was just a great chance for me to do design and also marketing within the same degree. And yeah, I think definitely was hard moving away from my sort of business lifestyle that I'd created alongside school and kind of detaching myself from my business because Grow Easy is primarily based here in Taranaki with living plants. Couldn't take that all down with me into my hall room last year.
Surely you could.
Um,
Surely you wouldn't mind.
definitely did bring a few plants with me, but yeah, it's very much set up here at home with greenhouses and in my studio and yeah, so yeah, it required some big support from my family to keep the business going in between the 6 week stints while I was down there. Um, but yeah, it's really easy to come home and yeah, like I am now for the break and yeah, readjust back into business life for a couple of weeks and home life. Yeah.
Oh, great. That's really, 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 really great to share. And I guess, you spoke about the struggle with being changing of the hat from business owner. But what about any personal struggles for you as a young person as you now left the sanctity of your home and people that you know into a place where, like, you've got all these awesome things about Wellington. It's a great city. It's beautiful. But what is the journey like for you, Abbie? Was there some trepidation or homesickness and those things that, that some people may have or may not have? What is that like for you as a person?
Yeah. I was really worried about getting homesick. Um, but it actually surprised me that being in the halls, I met a really great group of people and yeah, got involved with different communities and clubs and yeah, kind of found my new community down in Wellington. But yeah, I definitely was nervous about leaving home and the support of like friends and family back here in New Plymouth. But yeah, I knew it was only a short flight home if I really needed to. But yeah, I think big adjustments to yeah, just living in the CBD compared to sort of in the suburbs of New Plymouth. It's quite different living on like a main street. And yeah, the city's always alive around you. There's a lot, um, always heaps going on, which can sometimes be quite full on. Um, but yeah, I think for other challenges, I guess sort of just, yeah, managing the juggle of wanting, I'm the kind of person that wants to do all the things and get involved with lots of stuff and yeah, say yes. But yeah, I think it was just a big learning of yeah, figuring out like what's important to me, what what's exciting, what's going to help me with my studies, um, and yeah, just focusing on having a good time and not going overboard. But yeah, that was big for last year and this year. I think it will be for the rest of my life. Making sure I yeah take on just the right amount. But yeah.
I think, as we've said at the start, what Tanya spoke about, that the work-life balance, it becomes really hard. And I think all three of us, all yes people, will actually say yes to do lots of things. And, you've got to navigate that. Am I saying yes because I have the passion? Or am I
Mm.
saying yes because I have the capacity? Or am I saying, when do I say no? And sometimes you have to say no to look after yourself. And sometimes that becomes a bit harder when you're like, oh, I'm so passionate, but I have to look after myself. So yeah, and we've spoken about that with Alyssa last week as well, and Tanya spoke about many times, and we spoke about Kel as well. Just that hey, to look after yourself is pretty key. But when you're so passionate about things, you have to try and find that balance. But I'm going to go back to, you said the word yes, and I'm going to go back to yes again, because one of the cool things for you, and I guess one of your achievements, is actually winning a pretty cool award with Young Enterprise. What is that like for you? Because obviously you don't do things for awards, you do things. The award is the bonus, but what's that like for you when you won the award in 2021 for the Young Enterprise Regional? Was that the
Yeah,
top? Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
yeah,
Yeah, pretty cool to win the Taranaki region for Young Enterprise, especially as a sole trader. Um, yeah, it was a huge year. By the end of it, I was quite burnt out. At the
yeah.
time, I was running on adrenaline and it was all really exciting. By the end of the year, I was knackered and ready for a rest. But yeah, I think that achievement for me would have never happened if I didn't have so much support around me. The Taranaki business community and the networks that I had from Grow Easy and yeah, just my existing customer base with Grow Easy were all really supportive of the Together Collective. And yeah, the communities that were around our young artists were really passionate about supporting the young artists, which is awesome. Um, yeah, and I think, yeah, none of that could have happened without all of that support coming together. So it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
That's brilliant. Well done there. Because as you said before, a sole trader, and I was just reading the data, and there were 145 different people doing it at that year, and you won a few awards, which is really cool for a sole trader, and especially what you're trying to do. And talking about yes, you've now become a mentor. What is that like for you on the other side now? There was I see your post on LinkedIn, and it's pretty cool to see you now giving back. What is that like for you now, sitting on, hey, this is me 2 years ago or a year ago? How does that
Yeah.
feel?
Yeah, I really have loved getting involved with Young Enterprise as an alumni mentor and coach. And yeah, it's been really cool. I think, yeah, being able to, because I'm so close in age, I'm only 19, some of the year students are only 18. Yeah, just being able to listen and share some ideas with them and yeah, ask them questions to get them thinking about different ways that they could approach their ideas. And yeah, helping connect them up with different support that's out there. Yeah, I think it's good fun. We were involved with the Entrepreneurs in Action, which is their annual event down in Wellington, where 66 of young enterprise students come down to Wellington for the weekend. It's a big business challenge weekend. There's three challenges, which is really cool. And yeah, it was really cool coaching the team through the weekend. I was with the King's Trust team, And yeah, really proud to see them present at the end versus, their idea in the beginning and kind of helping them guide through the stages and yeah, problem solve to get to the end of the weekend. So it was pretty cool.
That is very cool. And how does it actually work? Do you ask to go back as a mentor, or were you shoulder tap to say, Abbie, come back?
There, I just volunteered
Yep.
most of
You said yes. You said yes again, did you?
I said yes. Yep. I
Yep.
volunteered myself to say yes. Um, yeah, they're happy to incorporate anyone that's keen to give back and get involved, which is really awesome. And yeah, they've just kept keeping me in the loop with what's coming up, especially in Wellington. And also I'd love to get back a bit more involved in New Plymouth when I'm home.
Yep.
And yeah, awesome communities both in Wellington and New Plymouth that I'm involved in. And yeah, they've got great alumni mentors all around the country, helping them in this space as well, which is cool. Yeah.
That is very cool. And I guess the other hat that you wear as well, you're also a marketing intern. And what is that like as you navigate that as well? So you have study, you have your business, you have Abbie time, and you've also got marketing intern time. What is that? And what is that like for you working in I'm going to do this in quotation marks, in a real business that's got money that they can actually spend on you?
Yeah. Yeah. So I've had some pretty awesome opportunities over the last few years. I've worked at Egmont Honey, which is a Manuka honey business based in New Plymouth. They are the second largest exporter globally for Manuka honey, which is really awesome. And yeah, so I worked with them over the summer as a design and marketing intern, which was a really great experience. And yeah, heaps of learning about sort of global export and marketing through different large retailers, such as Holland and Barrett in the UK is one of their biggest customers. And yeah, just being a support for the team while they were rolling out some cool projects. And then yeah, now I've moved on to work in a design agency as a junior designer intern and yeah, which is more focused around graphic design. So it's called TGM. So it's another local Taranaki company that's been around for over 20 years. They do all kinds of print, marketing, web, yeah, sort of full service agency, which is really cool. Yeah, so I've been doing that in my mid-year break, and then I head back in November to join them again. So that will be really cool. But yeah, lots of great learnings from there. And yeah, who knows what will unfold from there once I finish uni.
That's very exciting. And I guess it's all about those opportunities that you get or you take. And as you said before, you volunteer yourself for too. I guess, Tana, you've been doing that as well over the last few years, just volunteering yourself opportunities. And I guess you see some synergies there with Abbie as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, yeah, as we've discussed before, it's awesome to be able to go out and volunteer and I guess learn the power of volunteering because I think a lot of the time we say, oh, yeah, we'll give volunteering a go, not actually, I guess, realizing the impact it can have, but also the passions that it could actually unfold in terms of what it is you're going out and achieving. And I think, yeah, thirdly to that point is actually realizing that there's there's no point in volunteering just for the sake of volunteering. And I think it's like anything, but yeah, when there's no, monetary value or anything like that associated with it, you actually find that there's other powers within volunteering that really have the true impact. And I think a lot of the times I think we often take volunteers for granted. And something I learned from one of the other coaches that I've had the privilege of working with was, this whole idea of volunteers can be your biggest asset, but your biggest liability. And so, thinking about again, when there's no, real incentive, it's, anybody essentially giving up their time towards your cause, it's making sure that you actually value the volunteers that are helping support you and encourage them to feel like they are a part of your organization, whether you think of non-for-profits or, different organizations that, operate pretty much solely on volunteers, you actually realize that there's a much bigger picture than, just giving up a couple of hours each week actually has quite a large impact in the long term of things.
Yes, too. That's so true. So, it's awesome that both of you, put yourself forward to those opportunities. And it's not just about opportunity for yourself, but it's the growth around other people around you. Totally random question for you both. Why is Taranaki such a specialist place? I mean, it's such a pretty cool place. Why You're both from Taranaki. Abbie, you live in Wellington. At the moment, Tana, you live in Dunedin, but Taranaki is a pretty special place. What do you think makes it so special?
Do you want to go first, Tani?
Yeah, bit on the spot. I think for me, like it's just, I guess from my perspective, it was just an awesome place to grow up. It felt like the community was always connected, but it was quite nice too because it's big enough that you have everything that you need, but it's quite spread out geographically, which makes it I guess just a lot easier to feel like you've got a bit of freedom. It's not the hustle and bustle like you get in some of the bigger centres like Wellington, Christchurch, Auckland. But also, I think the environment really plays a piece in terms of, being able to be outdoors a lot of the time. I think there's a lot of opportunity within Taranaki, and it's always interesting going back to see, just that connection piece that you have. And I think, regardless of, most people have that connection to where they grow up. And I think, those are probably my main reasons for why I think it gave me so much and led to where I am today.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with all of that. And yeah, just an awesome place to grow up as a kid and really great family place. You've got the mountain, you've got the sea. Yeah, just an awesome community. And both of my parents didn't grow up in Taranaki, but they made Taranaki their home. So yeah, lots of people that have lived here their whole life and have had multi-generations that have always lived in Taranaki, and also lots of people that have come to the region. Yeah, my dad's from the UK, originally from the UK, and my mum's from Hamilton. But yeah, they made Taranaki their home, and yeah, it's been awesome. And yeah, I love coming back. Everyone's connected, everyone knows everyone, which can be awesome, but also, you know, takes a while to go to the supermarket or do your little jobs because you always bump into someone you know. But yeah, it's nice. Everything's familiar and close. And yeah, I've had a really awesome upbringing here.
That's a pretty special place. I think most places in New Zealand are pretty special, but I think Taranaki has something pretty special about it that you can't really put your finger on. Might be the mountain, might be the water, it might be, I don't know, who knows what it is, but it is a pretty cool space um, for me to visit as well. I'm looking forward to being there next week, I guess. Well, depends when you listen to this podcast. And I also want to talk about your study, Abbie. So we've spoken about you as with you as a business person and you as Abbie. How have you, design and marketing are the two things that you're doing? And I guess it's pretty obvious from our conversation that being creative is something that runs through you. What has it been like taking something that you enjoy creatively and now having to put it a theoretical lens because universities have a bit of a theoretical lens on it. So there's theory, but there's creativity. How do you find that? Do you enjoy that, or do you sometimes go, "Oh, come on, guys, do I need to know this theory, or can I just do my thing?"
I definitely found that with my first year marketing class, where I had been doing marketing for a while with my business in a really nice small scale within my little plant world and t-shirt world. But yeah, coming to uni, it was interesting to hear the theory behind things, and also realize, oh, I was doing that, but I didn't know it had that fancy name. Um, but yeah, I think I am very much a doing person, just getting stuff done, learning on the go, learning from other people. So yeah, having marketing in sort of an essay format and research and theory was really quite different for me. And yeah, it wasn't quite the same as what I expected in my first year, but now in my second year, we had a really awesome project where we got to make websites, which was right up my alley. And yeah, just applying the theory, but also doing practical stuff at the same time, which was really good for me. And yeah, through design, it's great because everything we do is hands-on, learning as you go, which works really well for me. Yeah, and there's so much freedom to try new things and design what you are really excited about. So I have done quite a few plant-related design projects in the past couple of years, which has been cool. At the moment, I am planning to create a Grow Easy mini film, which
Oh,
is animated, so it shows illustrations and moving parts of kind of my business journey. So that'll be quite fun. So yeah, there's lots of crossovers between all the different hats, and yeah, no, it's been cool. It's definitely been an adjustment though, in terms of theory versus DIY and getting kind of stuck into it.
Yeah, I asked that question, Abby, not because of any reason, but just because, I work with a lot of young people who are just like you. They're very practical. They've got side hustles going, and they want to study marketing when they go to university, and they go, "Oh, this is why do I need to know this? I'm already doing it already. I'm doing it here." And like you said before, they don't understand the theory, and sometimes you've got to go through that just to get to the next stage. And that's, I guess, with anything in life, you've got to understand the theory of a couple of things before you can grow the theory. Like like one of our last podcast guests, Zena Khan, said, you've got to know the rules before you can break them. So before you can play them. So which is really true. Um, Plants. Tell us about plants. Why are plants such a big part of your life, Abby? Is it are you just are plants your thing, or have they become your thing?
They've kind of become my thing. I think I'm not the kind of person that has grown up going, oh my gosh, plants, yes. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it's my dad is really into gardening. My mum's also really into like designing our garden that my dad then creates and grows.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it hasn't always been something that I've been really excited and have always known much about. I think it kind of just came about by chance, really, and that the school project that I did revolved around plants, and that went really well. And I've grown up around a lot of plants. We have lots at home, so it was a resource that I could tap into to get something going. Sorry, Dad, stole pinched most of the plants for the first year or so and had to grow more to grow up back. But um, yeah, I've just learnt a lot along the way. I've got some amazing mentors and growers around the region who have been growing for decades. And yeah, they've given me so much knowledge and support that has, really helped me learn heaps more about plants and be able to pass it on to my customers. And yeah, the passion's kind of just grown from there, really. Yeah.
I like that because, as you said, for some people, they just plants are their thing and this is what they do. But for you, it's going to sound crazy. It was out of convenience. You plants
Yeah.
around you. You
Yep.
had to do a project and it became a thing. But why that's really cool is because, a lot of people out there think, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to create a business idea. But if you just look around you, sometimes those convenient things can actually be the easiest way for you to go, hey, this is actually I've got this in my funnel or my house or my support structures, and I can just leverage off that there, and that just becomes your stepping stone. Which
Yeah.
sometimes we go and search for things all over the place. And if you had tried to search for an idea that wasn't so close to you, you might have a whole different story coming on today, which is pretty cool for you to. This is why I asked the question, because I think it's pretty important for people to go that you don't have to have this thing straight away. It can just be something you pick up as you navigate whatever your journey is.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of those things that's like you, yeah, it's not about getting into entrepreneurship, isn't about always having this big, grand, innovative idea that's going to make you millions of dollars and all of these, big dreams. Also awesome to have those, and that works for some people and they go off and do that. But for me, it was kind of like starting small, doing something that's really achievable to get started. I didn't know what would come of it, so I was just trying it out as a little hobby, little idea. And it does show you that, just by making the most of what's around you and just trying stuff and not being too caught up in making things big and fancy and grand. Just keeping it simple.
Oh, beautiful. Tony, any questions for Abby?
Yeah, it's going to be a two-part question because I don't really know how to put it into one. So I guess the first question is just around your businesses and I guess where you see them going, either short term or long term. And then I guess the second part to that question is, have there been times where you've had to stop the growth of the business, as obviously you've gone to university and stuff like that. And has that been challenging? Because, obviously when we think of an entrepreneur, we think, big scale, we want to grow, we want to make it bigger and better. And yeah, so have you had that where you've had to stop doing that essentially and just maintain the business? And if so, how that has felt as a business or an entrepreneur, I should say.
Yeah. I definitely think, um, I guess my long-term goals for Grow Easy and the Together Collective, I think is really, I've had lots of people ask me that kind of thing, and it's quite hard because I'm only 19, that it's quite hard to visualize what my life will look like even next year, let alone, 5 years' time. Um, I am kind of the person that just kind of chips away each year. And yeah, I think it'll just depend, yeah, what's working, what's not, what I want to do, whether I want to travel, how much I'm working, might be working full time somewhere, so things might have to go to a lower capacity. Yeah, it also depends where I end up geographically in New Zealand as well. Yeah, so I'm just pretty keen to keep things nice and flexible. And yeah, the thing with both of the ventures is, yeah, it's got to work for me and also for my family. So, um, yeah, being able to just be flexible and adjust stuff is good. And that definitely did happen when I left for uni. Um, I, yeah, had to figure out what was doable while managing a new life in Wellington and settling into university. And yeah, I'm lucky that I have some really awesome suppliers and great retail outlets in New Plymouth and also in Harwood that sell my products on my behalf. So mostly everything could tick away as usual once I left, which was really great. So yeah, people could still get their plants from wherever, and it's still like that now. And yeah, I'm really lucky that I've got lots of support. That means I can keep Grow Easy going, even though I'm not here. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, no, that's very cool. I think, yeah, as I say, it's just sometimes, we get so caught up in we want to change the world overnight. And so it's cool to see that you already have a grasp of, yeah, I guess how to, yeah, take that step back. And as you say, ultimately, if you can build a business or have an idea that can tick away without you having to do a lot of that, underlying stuff that a lot of people don't see, then that's probably, and as you say, that works for both you and the business, which is awesome to hear.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's definitely taken a bit to get to that point. And yeah, lots of support and yeah, pre-work to get everything, all those relationships set up. And yeah, I've just got awesome customers that are really supportive and yeah, have meant that Grow Easy is still going. Every year I go, is this going to be the last year? Who knows? And I just keep going. So um yeah, no, really amazing community and supportive customers that mean that I can still do this nearly 8 years later. So yeah,
Amazing.
pretty cool.
Amazing. Big shout out to all of Abbie's and Grow Easy's customers out there for keeping Grow Easy growing. Not just growing,
Yes,
but growing,
absolutely.
which is great. So shout out to everyone out there, and also a shout out to all your supporters who've backed you from the age of 14 to where you are at the moment, which is really fantastic. Abbie, we've been chatting for almost an hour, and there's been so many different amazing pieces of knowledge you shared today. But as we round off the podcast, our podcast is called Passes of Knowledge. And every week we invite our guests to share a piece of knowledge to put into our baskets. So myself, Tane, and our listeners. What knowledge you'd like to share for myself, Tane, and our listeners? And this could be from any aspect of your life.
Okay. One little short piece. I'd have to say, this is something I share with young entrepreneurs when they're thinking about ideas or thinking that they might be interested in entrepreneurship is start small. Um, start small, follow your passions, and yeah, surround yourself with supportive people. I think are the main three things that are big for me. Yeah, support, start small, and yeah. Yeah, you got to love what you do, and yeah, and also, I guess this is another thing to add to the basket, but something that I've also found is age doesn't determine your success. being, 11 or 12 and not really knowing much and not really knowing what you're doing doesn't mean that you can't start something, doesn't mean that you can't pursue your idea. You can't let your age or stage hold you back from something you're excited to do. So yeah, that would be another big thing. Yeah, just go for it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So, follow your passions, start small, make sure you have supportive people around you, and also don't let your age stop you. And I guess age works both ways. You could be young or you could be old as well, because a lot of
Absolutely.
times, if you think about I'm just going to generalize right here. Traditionally entrepreneurs were, very, very few. So people were sitting, you have to go to university or you have to go into trade. They just follow a vocation, and when they're in their 40s or their 50s, they realize actually I can break out and do something different, and they get afraid because of their age. So I think it's really important to remember that the age works on both sides. It's not just if you're young; it's also if you're older.
Yes.
That doesn't stop you from becoming an entrepreneur.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, which is really really beautiful. Any last words, Abbie?
Just thank you for having me. Yeah, it's been an awesome opportunity. My first podcast, so can tick that one off the list. Something
Yeah,
new.
the
Yeah,
first,
thanks for having me.
no worries, the first of many. Tony, any last questions or any last thoughts for Abbie?
It's been a good podcast. So thanks, Abbie, for jumping on.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just round it off. Thank you, Abbie, for jumping on today. As I said at the start, it's been really cool for me watching you when I met you all those years at school, to seeing you at various events with Victoria University, seeing your LinkedIn posts, just watching you grow, seeing your funnel the other day, which is really quite nice and very cool to see that as well. But also today is actually learning about how the process went for you, which, as we said before, everyone has got a story behind the cool visuals you see. There's also the hard mahi that you shared today about how it all started for you as a young person with your grandmother and your family, and also going to university, how that meant you had to stop that a little bit. So thank you for sharing that today. This has been really, really beautiful, and I'm sure listeners will pick up something from there. But also, not just about your story, but also getting inspired by the fact that, hey, as you said before, you didn't love plants, but plants were around you, and it allowed you to go into a venture, which is, as you said just before, it's 8 years in the running. If someone said to you when you started to Grow Easy that you'd be doing this for the next almost a decade, you would have been like, what are you talking about? I'm guessing. Or you might have been like, yeah, this is what the dream is. So it's really quite cool. So thank you for sharing that with us. And for our listeners out there, hopefully you have had you've enjoyed listening to today's episode. As always, there's always amazing pieces of knowledge which can be shared with you and your family and your friends. If you haven't found anything useful, go back and listen because you weren't listening to the podcast. So next time, don't forget to keep smiling, don't forget to be happy, and don't forget the most important thing is to put something into your past knowledge. Till next time, ka kite. Bye everybody. Peace. And thank you, Abbie.
Thank you for listening to Baskets of Knowledge.
Yeah, we hope that you found something useful to put into your basket of knowledge. And as we said before, remember to put something little into your baskets of knowledge every week. And as always, feel free to like, comment, and share this podcast. Thanks, everybody. Bye.